Chapter 3, My Enemy's Friends. In the dimly lit mining tunnels, you watch as miners load crates of illegal alcohol into the rail car, the air thick with the stench of brandy and earth. That's the last of tonight's shipment. Boss will be pleased with this haul. Oh yeah, these rich bastards can't get enough of this stuff. It's all connected. They're bootlegging, Campbell's drinking, Dottie's death. All the pieces were being set in motion right here the whole time. Your knuckles churn white as you grip the broken vase shard tighter. Only for the jagged edge to bite into your palm. Fresh blood trickles down your fingers, drawing your attention as it mixes with the Judge Blake's. Your stomach churns. Why? Didn't he stop him? He was supposed to be the bastion of justice, but the island was going to hell right under his feet. He never even suspected. Your grip tightens on the shard as anger overtakes your guilt, but you force yourself to take deep breaths fighting to stay grounded in the present. If he'd done his job, I wouldn't have to visit him. I wouldn't have had to kill him. The panic subsides, leaving nothing but cold clarity in its wake, and your gaze hardens on the unsuspecting miners. What happened to the judge was his fault. What happens to these bootleggers will be theirs. You slam your fist into a nearby alcohol barrel in frustration, and as the wood cracks, the sound echoes through the tunnel, causing one of the miners to jump. The crate in his hand smashes against the ground, leaking brandy into the earth. Damn it, Tim! Did you hear that? The pair freeze, every muscle tensing as they scan the shadows. It was probably just a rat. That doesn't sound like any rat I've ever heard. Whatever. Let's just hurry up and get the rest of the load out of here. He grabs another crate, and you notice his hand shaking as he hurries to add it to the stack. Immediately an idea comes to mind. They can't sell what they don't have. If I can get them scared enough to abandon product, I can put a stop to this here and now. You peer over the crates separating you from the miners and study them. I should target the fearful one, the brave one. The fearful one. You use the shadows to creep behind you. As he loads up more of the shipment for transport, you let out a low whistle. It pounces perfectly off the tunnel walls until the sound seems like it's coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. Did you hear that? It sounded like it was right behind me. The frightened miner whirls around trying to track the sound, but his partner doesn't stray from task. I'm sure it's nothing. Before he can finish, you inch closer and whistle in. Closer this time. It's getting closer. Hey, watch it. The miner's gaze flits past her silhouette in the dark, his panic rising. Hello? Oh. As you unleash a third and final whistle, he surges back, knocking his partner in a stack of crates. Glass shatters, wood splinters as cargo comes crashing down around them. Bingo. The shipment! Tell with the shipment, man. There's something out there. We need to leave. We can't go without the rest of the load. The boss will kill us. Whatever's out there has already called dibs. Let's just go. The miner edges closer and closer to the exit. Come on, come on. But his partner remains fearful, racking through his body. If we don't return these, boss will think we stole them. We won't get paid, and I deserve that money. His mind made up, the miner stacks the crates furiously, and after a moment, his partner reluctantly joins him. Your blood boils. They made that money at the risk of everyone on this island. It's blood money, and they'll have it over my dead body. Immediately, your thoughts go to Judge Blake, lying dead on his office floor, and as you look down at your blood-stained clothes, you realize what a frightful sight you make. These two helped make my worst nightmare come true. If I become theirs, I bet they'll think twice about enabling killers like their boss and Campbell for profit. And this time, I won't risk anyone seeing my face. Your eyes land on a piece of broken crate, roughly big enough to conceal your identity. As you pick it up, the wood feels smooth against your fingertips. Make their fears reality. You carve eye holes in the wood before holding it up and hiding your true face in its shadow. Time to give them a show they'll never forget. The shard of vase, he feels heavy in your hands as you emerge from the shadows. Hey, you bootlegging scum. The miners freeze, terror washing over their faces as they squint at your menacing figure and glinting shard. Oh god, he's got a weapon. They back away from you, stumbling over each other in their panic. What do you want from us? We're just trying to make a living, man. The problem is you make your living by endangering everyone on this island. Your words echo off the stone walls, making them flinch. And now, you're going to pay the price. You raise the bloody shard, letting it catch the lantern's light. Run! Run! They bolt in different directions, their panicked footsteps echoing off the walls. Who do you go after? The brave one, the fearful one. The brave one, because why not? You take a path that veers to the right, stalking after the second miner openly, your steady pace matching his frantic scrambling. You don't scare me, you masked freak. Oh, let's see how long that brave face lasts. Circle ahead. You duck down a side tunnel, emerging ahead of him. How did you? He skids to a stop, his facade cracking. Not so brave now, are you? The miner spots a ladder leading up to the surface and makes his move, shooting a defiant grin over his shoulder. See you in hell, freak. Oh, time to clip this bird's wings. Break the rungs, grab his leg, throw something, break the rungs. You slam your shard into one of the rungs, splintering them. What the? The ladder collapses, sending him crashing back down. Looks like you're staying grounded. Footsteps echo through the tunnel as a fearful miner approaches. Jerome, you okay? Stay back, Tim. I've got this, psycho. Jerome fights you back, and as Tim rushes in through an adjacent tunnel, you slip back into the shadows. We need to run! No more running. We take him together. Oh, brave words from a broken man. Come out and fight us. Head on, you coward. They stand back to back, united, but even as he taunts you, it's clear the brave one's confidence is clearly shaken. Fine. But remember, you asked for this. Your heart races as adrenaline floods your system, and for the first time since Dottie's death, you feel alive. I hope you're ready, boys, because here's Tommy. I should take them both, divide and conquer. You circle them rapidly, footsteps echoing from all directions. On our left! No, there! They spin wildly in opposite directions, trying to track you, but the pair only end up tripping over each other as they lay sprawled in the dirt. You move to stand over them. Together they fall. As you crouch, you place the shard against the nearest one's neck and watches as Adam's apple bobs. Please don't hurt us. Should have thought about that before you started poisoning my island. We'll stop, we swear. Just please let us go. I have a message for you and your boss. You lean in, letting him see his own terrified reflection in your eyes before you whisper, the tunnels aren't safe for bootleggers anymore. The next time I catch you, you're peddling this filth. You bear down on the shard just hard enough for blood to bead against the man's skin, and a slight copper scent fills the air. You won't live to regret it. Understood. You gesture for them to get up, and in seconds they disappear into the darkness, leaving you to find your way back to the shipment of alcohol. Once there, you kick over the stack of crates, dousing the ground with every remaining drop of brandy. One small step for man. And as you pull the torch from the wall, a mix of satisfaction and adrenaline flows through you, igniting a warm feeling in your chest as you set the cave ablaze. And one giant leap for the safety of our island. The next day you patrol the prison yard, and though your eyes are on the inmates, your thoughts are stuck on last night's events. Those miners won't be enabling killers like Joe anymore, because I did what needed to be done and they learned their lesson all right. Your heart races at the memory, and you catch yourself chuckling as you recall their terror, only to quickly course correct. But handling the miners were just a means to an end. Now that the island is safe from that poison, and I can focus on finding Campbell. Your fists clench as you think about him walking free, starting a new life somewhere. He doesn't deserve a fresh start, not after what he took from me. You're lying! But your thoughts are interrupted by an outburst of overlapping voices, and nearby you spot a group of prisoners huddled around a card game. Nope, got the news from my sister this morning during the visiting hour. Judge Blake is at a great courthouse in the sky. Read 'em and weep. As the inmate displays his cards on the table, your blood runs cold and you inch closer, straining to hear. And you're sure someone did him in? It wasn't a heart attack or poor health? Nope. Somebody attacked his heart all right, stabbed him 17 times. Oh, at that, the whole table turns to hang on that man's every word, and he grins, eating up the attention. The sis said the bailiff paid him a visit at home when he missed court. Nearly puked. Best part, nobody has a clue who did it. But I think it's someone we all know very well. You make eye contact with the inmate across the yard. With a cheeky smile, he winks. Your stomach drops. No, there's no way. If you got something to say, then say it. Before you know it, you're practically flying across the yard, desperate to get the inmate before he can open his mouth. Beat him with a baton, strangle him to shut up. You're already hefting the weight of it in your palms as you storm towards him. I'll say I saw him make a move against Samuel. It'll be my word against his. But before you can get close enough, the inmate flashes Samuel a grin. Let's just say our boy Campbell's been a busy man since getting out. What? Your heartbeat thuds in your ears and you freeze mid-step, tension draining from your shoulders as the other prisoners mull over the information. Campbell, you think Richie Rich did the judge? Makes perfect sense, don't it? Judge locks him up as a power play. Second Campbell's free, shows his unappreciation. But it makes as much sense as anything. After all, we still don't know of how Campbell got out. As the inmates deal the next hand, relief washes over you, followed quickly by shame as you unclench your fists. What's wrong with me? Was I really going to kill someone innocent to save myself? Your gaze falls to your trembling hands and you force them steady. Who am I kidding? If I have to maim every last one of them to stay on Campbell's tail, that's exactly what I'll do. Nothing is going to stand between me and justice, and since Blabbermouth has the inside scoop, I might as well listen in. As the inmates continue their speculation, unaware of how close they just came to violence, you stand just behind the table, keeping an ear out. I'll bet you Campbell never officially got released. He probably just escaped. The guards don't want to cause a panic by telling people. He's probably hiding in the tunnels underneath the prison as we speak. I know that's where I'd be. Is that right? What about the rest of you? Any other hiding spots or tips I should know about? Immediately, the jovial atmosphere disappears, and Sam and the other inmates clam up, eyeing you with suspicion. Depends. You thinking of going into hiding, officer? More like I'm looking for someone who's already pulled a vanishing act. Someone who may or may not have killed a certain judge. The inmate looks to Sam as if asking what they should do, and as he regards you, he plants his meaty forearms on the table. Why should any of us tell you anything? Easy. Because if you don't, your privileges might disappear. Those extra visiting hours you enjoy, they can vanish real quick. Sam's jaw clenches, and for a moment you think you've got him beat, and then, my family takes the ferry in for those visiting hours, and they absolutely hate it. You want to tell my nan she can't see me after that? Be my guest. Your leverage wasn't strong enough. Well, okay. Most people in prison... Listen, this is a complete opposite of real life. Most people in prison or jail actually enjoy their, privileges. but in a battle of you versus her, I got my money on a little old lady. Sam grins as the other inmates chuckle. You head inside, aiming right for the warden's office. Those damn inmates think they can stop me. They can't stop me. I'm going into those tunnels, I'm going to find Campbell, and God help anyone who's trying to hide him from me when I do. You shove open the door to Warden De Palma's office, anger driving every step. Warden, only to find him sitting across from Dr. Cross. Good to see you, Tommy. We just were talking about you. Why am I not surprised? Something you need, Danes. Glance over at Dr. Cross to find her studying you, and you tense. I've got to get her out of here, but if I tell the warden it has to do with Dottie's case, Dr. Cross is going to run a read into it. I could always lie, but then I risk getting caught. As you weigh your options, Warden De Palma looks up at you impatiently. Today, Danes, I'd like to get back to running this prison. Sir, I need to leave early. I am not feeling well. My stomach's been turning all morning. A fate has been sealed. Dr. Cross's eyebrows immediately knit together, but you ignore her, focusing your attention on the warden as he waves a flippant hand. And take the rest of the day, but I expect you back first thing tomorrow, and you'll be covering the evening shift to make up for it. Yes, sir. You're nearly at the door when you hear another set of footsteps behind you. I was just about to take my lunch. Why don't I walk with you? I don't need a babysitter. You breeze through the doorway out into the hall, leaving Dr. Cross to hurry after you in her kitten heels. Then, how about a friend? Because for someone who's sick, you sure look pretty healthy to me. Want to talk about what's really going on with you? I've already told you. I'm fine. Yes, I know, but Tommy, I'm not buying it. She scurries ahead of you and pulls to a stop, blocking the hallway as she crosses her arms. You obviously lied to the warden, and if you're lying, it must be about your daughter. So where are we really going? Who's we? I'm where I'm going, and why is my business. I'm just trying to help. You want to help me? Your gaze catches on an open door of a nearby empty cell, then flashes back to Dr. Cross. I'm close to finding Campbell, but there's no way I can do it with her watching my every move. There's got to be a way for me to ditch her. I should... You know what? I'm playing the bad guy, right? Without warning, you grab her by the arm and shove her towards the open cell. Tommy, what are you... The door slams shut with a satisfying click. Sometimes the best way to help is staying out of my way. I understand you're hurting, but this isn't the answer. Maybe not, but it's the only one I've got right now. You pocket the key and turn away to her protests echo down the hall. You're proving my point, Tommy. This behavior isn't healthy. Sorry, Doc, but I'm done with therapy. The mining tunnels feel different in the daylight as the groups of miners work steadily, rolling out rock by the carload. Limestone during the day, liquor at night, and somewhere hidden by it all, a murderer. Your hand unconsciously touches the spot where you're hiding the bloody vase shard. Ready or not, Campbell, here I come. But as you start to head in, one of the miners from last night stops you in your tracks. Whoa there, officer. This is private property, I'm afraid. I can't let you in. You size the man up as you gauge your response. He doesn't strike me as someone who knows the boss. I could probably pretend to know him to get inside and look for Campbell. But maybe it's better to flash my badge and be in an official capacity in case I find him. Thinking quickly, you plaster on a smile and surge ahead. I don't think you understand. I'm a guard at the prison. There are reports of a convict sleeping here. I'm here to collect him. And after the incident last night, I think that's probably best, don't you? The miner's fear made entry easy. At the mention of the masked visitor, the miner looks around nervously, scanning the crowd of workers as if he might be lying in wait. A surge of glee fills your chest. If only he knew. You've heard about that? The whole island's talking about it, and I'm just here to make sure everything's secure. Of course, right this way. The tunnel stretches before even the miner guides you through. He points out what looks like a recently inhabited alcove. You didn't hear this from me, but there were people staying in the cave for a while. Finally. You examine the paltry surroundings, and while it quickly becomes clear that the space was lived in, there's no justice to be found here. Discarded supplies. You rifle through the abandoned supplies, food wrappers, water bottles, and a journal. You flip through the pages, and instantly you recognize Campbell's handwriting from the note. Where did they go? I don't know any more than what I told you. If you need more, you'll have to talk to Sly at the Blue Note. He's the one who signed off on them being here. Your blood begins to boil as the pieces click into place. So close, but so far. In a fit of rage, you grab the leftover belongings and rip them to shreds. He's handling this well, before leaving them in a ragged heap and fixing the miner with an icy look. How far from here to the Blue Note? The Blue Note thrums with energy, but as well-dressed patrons dance the afternoon away to lively jazz, you can't help but scan the crowd from your table. Sly has to be here somewhere. But before you can search the room properly, a familiar voice cuts through the crowd. Well, if it isn't the man who locked me in a cell. Oh, you got out, did you? Normally I'd ask if you were looking for me, but considering you ditched me, that's probably unlikely. Dr. Cross stands before your table, arms crossed, her usually warm demeanor replaced with icy disapproval. Perfect, just what I need. Look, I already know what you're gonna say, Doc. You throw on your best prim and proper accent and lift your voice in your best impersonation of the doctor. I want you to heal. I'm trying to help. You need to talk about your feelings. You are infuriating. Thank you, I take pride in it. And you're annoying. Now, if you don't mind. You wave her aside, but rather than leave, she makes herself at home in the seat across from you. Has anyone ever told you that you have a knack for popping up at the worst possible time? You mean aside from you? No. But I'll have to work on my timing now that there's a murder on the loose. At that, you pause. A murderer? Play it cool. Finally decided to listen to me about Campbell, huh? What'd he do now? Nothing as far as we know, but he is a person of interest in Judge Blake murder. Ah, I heard about that, and I'm telling you now. I told you so. Everyone thought I was overreacting, but Joseph Campbell is not a good man. Hell, he may be one of the worst I've ever met at Morelic Island Penitentiary. Wait, you work at the prison? A woman walking by stops at your table, and in seconds a gaggle of her friends joins, further blocking your view. I heard Campbell was there, but he escaped. He did not. He was found innocent and released based on new information. Who are you, and why are you giving out privileged information that only has been discussed between the judge and the warden? Remember, we ourselves weren't even allowed that information. And you're supposed to be a psychiatrist. Well, therapist, technically, but they're kind of like mirrors. Like, okay. That's upsetting. You can't help that smile that overtakes your face as a mischievous spirit fills you. Or at least that's what they're telling us to say. Because that's the truth. No one's listening. As a small crowd gathers, every eye is on you with rapt attention. The public deserves to know what we're dealing with. Tell us about him. What was he like in prison? As Dr. Cross turns to you expectingly, an idea quickly comes to mind. Right now, finding Campbell is like a needle in a haystack because I am the only one looking for him. But if I get the town to be afraid of him, everyone will be keeping an eye on. Yep, Where should I start? The crowd leans in closer as you settle in your chair, a dangerous glint in your eye. I mean, there's so much to choose from. Tommy! But you're already letting your imagination run wild, leaving Dr. Cross and her disappointment behind. Why don't I tell you about the time he terrorized me during my night rounds, threatened me for talking to his wife, showed his true colors. The thing about Campbell is he'd act perfectly normal, right until he didn't. I've got the scar to prove it. You gesture to your face, tracing an invisible line. Oh my god, I see it. What happened? He coordinated with the other prisoners, got the drop on me with a kitchen knife he stole right from underneath everyone's noses. He attacked a guard? Oh, he did more than that. You lower your voice dramatically, making the crowd lean in even closer. He made it into a game. The crowd gasps collectively, and as whispers spread through the club like wildfire, you feel a rare warmth fill you. Careful, it almost looks like you're having fun ruining a good man's name. A good man, yeah, okay. There's nothing good about Joseph Campbell. One of these days, when he pops out to murder you, you'll wish you'd listen to me. Just like he did with the judge. Oh, come on. There's no evidence that Joseph Campbell had anything to do with the murder. Then why is he a person of interest? That because Judge Blake is the one who sentenced him to life. So in return, Campbell sentenced him to death. An eye for an eye, a life sentence for a death sentence. The crowd murmurs in shock and horror. Oh, awful. Judge Blake thought he could contain evil, and he paid the ultimate price. You lean in, your voice dropping to a whisper. And just between us, I heard Blake begged for mercy at the end, just like Campbell had in court. But if he was in jail, he'd have to get out to kill the judge. Yeah, none of this is exactly making me feel very safe. But don't you guards do your jobs anymore? The crowd surge with anxious agreement, and you barely manage to bite back your glee. Sounds like my plan is working. Quickly, you plaster on a fox-afraid look. We do the best we can, but there's only so much we can do. That's why we ask the island's residents to always stay vigilant. You really don't know how he escaped? No one knows for sure, but my guess is the mining tunnels. The tunnels run right under the prison. One day, Campbell just vanished. You lean in, lowering your voice conspiratorially. Found a hole in his cell floor the size of a man, but below it, a tunnel. He dug his way out? With nothing but a spoon and pure determination. That's impossible. The evidence was right there, along with dozens of half-dug holes. You mean he tried before? For months. The man's persistence was terrifying. I heard they started calling him Stabby Joe. My cousin said he whistles before attacking. None of that actually happened. Dr. Cross stands abruptly, her clinical calm finally cracking. I've read Campbell's file. There was no incidents anything like what Officer Danes is describing. Maybe you just didn't have access to the real records, Doc. But the crowd is already dispersing, eager to share their new gossip with others. Why would you do this? Feed their fears with lies. You take in her angry face, indignant rage seeping from every pore. Still, she doesn't leave your side, and her loyalty tempers some of your latent anger, leaving you feeling raw. Because, Doc, I'm not as good a man as you think I am. You look out at the gossiping club mongers as all trading excited whispers, and neither is Joseph Campbell. As the crowd disperses, movement near the door catches your eye. A man in miner's overalls casts a look over his shoulder. Silas D. Leon. Before exiting the club, immediately you stand. Sorry, Doc, but it looks like I've got to run. As you throw down enough money to cover your soda, Dr. Cross grips your arm. Tommy, I don't know what you're up to, but don't do anything you can't take back, okay? For a moment you meet her eyes. The sincerity in them is enough to warm your heart, and in a way it hasn't been since you last saw Dottie smile. Then the familiar, painful ache sets in. You pull back, freeing yourself from a grasp in your heart from the memories. Do me a favor. Don't follow me this time. Whatever I do, you're better off far away from it. And with that, you step out into the late afternoon air and leave the sound of jazz fading behind you as you follow your newest target. You keep your distance as Sly makes his way through the quiet of the afternoon streets. He strolls casually, even whistling a tune from the club. Poor bastard doesn't have a care in the world. Little does he know, he's about to. Before you get a chance to get closer, a stray cat knocks the metal lid from a garbage can up overhead. Sly turns to investigate. As he gives the area a once-over, you realize you're about to be right in his line of sight. Hide behind the garbage can in plain sight in a nearby doorway. In a flash, you flatten yourself to a shop door, barely breathing to avoid detection. Don't see me, don't see me. As the large shop window provides cover, completely blocking you from view, after a moment, Sly shakes his head and sets off. It's mid-afternoon. Like, wouldn't you just walking down the street casually just not really raise alarm? Just saying. You wait a moment to give Sly enough lead time and then set off. But as you turn onto a new street, he's nowhere to be found. Past the left and right lie ahead. He had to have gone back down one of these, but which? I should casually. If I rush, I'm gonna call attention to myself. Though your heart is pounding, you take the left path at your usual pace. But as you look down every side street, it becomes apparent Sly didn't come this way. Damn it. Still, you maintain your pace and head back, and when you least expect it, you casually breeze by Sly at a newsstand. There you are. He doesn't look up, and you pretend to examine the front page news until he sets off again. As you leave downtown and edge closer to the homes, night begins to settle in, and you prepare yourself. We're getting close. One of these has to be his, and with the sunset, no one will see a thing. Sure enough, Sly walks up to a path to a home, and as he reaches for the door, you step out of the shadows. Going somewhere. He whirls around, genuine shock on his face. Oh, what the? But before he can finish, your fist connects with his jaw, and he falls to the floor in a slump. You open his front door and drag him inside. Come on, Sly. You and I need to have a little chat. You're sipping a cup of coffee when Sly wakes. His arms jerk as he looks down in horror. He finds himself tied to the kitchen chair. Wakey, wakey. You and I have a lot to discuss. Oh, what's this about? Because if you want money, I don't keep cash in the house, but you're welcome to anything you see. Of course you think it's about money. That's all that matters to you. It's all you can think about but me. You pause to brandish your weapon. Sly goes stock still. I'm here about something more precious than that. Life. As your daughter's face flashes across your memory, you vault out of the chair and press the shard edge to his throat. I just have a question. Why don't you use a real knife? Wasn't that what Stabby Joe used? Just throwing that out there. Joseph Campbell, the bootlegging, my daughter's death. You're gonna answer for all of it. I don't know anything about your daughter. Stop lying. In a haze of anger, you dig in, his skin parts easily, allowing warm blood to flow. Oh, please, don't hurt me. Please. I read the case file. Without your testimony, Joseph Campbell would still be in prison. What testimony? I never... You dig in deeper and he cries out. The redacted statement. 5-letter signature. You can go by whatever nickname you like, but I know it was you, Silas. Okay, yeah, I did submit that, but you've been quietly covering for him the entire time. I haven't! You press the weapon harder against his throat and blood pours from the wound. I saw the cave where you hid them. Campbell and his pregnant wife. Okay, yes, I hid them, but you don't understand. But you want to know the saddest part of all this? His cries echo through the house, and as your blood races through your veins, you want to see it pour out of his. While you spent every second you could protecting him, Campbell gave you up. I know you gave him the alcohol that made him kill my girl. Wait, you got it all wrong. I can explain. As you lay the weapon just over his pulse point, his chest heaves, his lungs fighting for air while he still has the chance. Give me one reason why I shouldn't end this right now. Because you only know what he wants you to know. Who, Campbell? No, Joseph Campbell didn't kill your daughter, but I know who did. I can tell you. Oh no, this is gonna end horrible. Hear the story. You lower your weapon slightly and his shoulders sag with relief. It's difficult to imagine now, but that night actually started with good news. Now, playing a sly, you look on as all of Joe and Annie's friends fill the blue note in celebration of the news, and as a mother-to-be slips away, you dig into your secret stash. Now those of us with more delicate sensibilities are gone. I brought a treat to share. You reveal a bottle of brandy with a flourish, and Joe clapped you on the shoulder with a grin. Oh, and here I thought you came empty-handed. Ah, me? Never. But before you know it, the front door splinters open. Damn it! The room floods with law enforcement, and as they converge, you turn to Joe. Joe, help! But he backs away, leaving you holding the evidence. I'm sorry, Sly. I'm having a kid soon. I have to put myself first. What, Joe? I should try to run after him. You know, you could always just leave the bottle on the counter wherever you put it and run. You bolt for the back door, hot on Joe's tail, but a guard jumps into your path at the last second. Going somewhere. You freeze, caught red-handed, and in seconds the guard slams you to the floor. And all around you, guards package the spoils of your labor, and you look on a pair of shiny leather boots step in your eye line. Looks like your friends left you. What friends? Angry you spit, and the figure crouches, allowing you to see their face. There are easily 5 liters of illegal hooch here, and you're going away for a long, long time. And for a moment he pauses, and then, unless... He picks up one of your bottles, examining the rich amber color in the dim light. Unless... This is quality stuff, better than anything I've ever seen across my desk. Your heart pounds as you realize what he's suggesting. A way out. You drink? Immediately slams the bottle down. Of course not, I'm the warden of the island. It's my job to hold criminals responsible for their behavior. I would never have such a filthy moral failing. I wasn't suggesting that you did. Only that, men like us understand certain things. And what exactly do you think we understand? The value of discretion and the way the world really works. You reach for the bottle and hold it so that it catches the light. Are you suggesting what I think you're suggesting? A man in your position, surely you appreciate the finer things in life? You hold the bottle out to him reverently, and as his fingers tighten around the bottleneck, he swallows hard. You're trying to buy your way out of this. I prefer to think of it as reaching an understanding. Warden De Palma uncorks the bottle and breathes in the warm aroma. With a nod of his head, you're back on your feet, and the warden holds the bottle up in a toast. To new partnerships. You watch, helpless, as he drinks deeply from your finest brandy. It's better than jail. Several sips later, a clock chimes the time, and the warden drunkenly staggers to the door under the weight of your remaining bottles of brandy. Clean this place up. We were never here. Okay, so that just says the warden got drunk, not that he killed Dottie. Your hands shake as Sly finishes recounting that night, and as you look at him, he's unable to meet your gaze. By the time I got home, Joe was waiting for me there. He was so shaken up about the cops being after him that I let him stay in the tunnels until things cooled down. But they never did. And you never thought to stop the warden before he killed someone? You let him drive away drunk, knowing what could happen. Tears well up in his eyes as he grips the edge of the table. Not a day goes by that I don't see her face in the papers. That I don't wish I'd made a different choice. I'm so sorry. I don't think that's gonna matter to this guy. No, you're not. You just don't want to die. If that's really what happened, why'd you wait so long to tell anyone? Because I was mad as hell. Joe was supposed to be my friend, but in my darkest hour, he left me high and dry. I wanted to know I wanted him to know what that felt like, but it turns out I'm not as heartless as him. I couldn't see him in need and not help. He's my friend. As much as you don't want to believe it, things start falling into place. Warden's been trying to get me to leave the case alone and just get over it. And when I didn't, Dr. Cross's fat face flashes through your mind. Their secret meanings, reported notes. He killed her. Yes, he did. And now that you know the truth... I told you it wouldn't end well for you, my dude. But before the words can even make it out of his mouth, you bring the sharpened edge across his neck. Blood spatters everywhere. He sputters before falling silent forever. As you head for the door, you wipe the blood from your cheek, catching a few stray tears. Don't you worry, baby girl. Justice is on the way. Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember that if you did enjoy, to like, share, and subscribe. Please leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts, but aside from that, I do apologize about being a little late on this. Yesterday I was really freight training through the other chapters, and I got all that taken care of, but... and I even did the one episode of Romance Club, but aside from that, just basically, you know, if you can tell, I've been doing a lot of content lately, right? Again, check out all the videos, man, like, seriously. And I'm just... been doing this for a long time, right? And I'm just really pushing to get this content out. And then I'm pushing to play catch-up. I'm doing streams. I'm covering new games. I'm dealing with more responsibility than ever. I'm dealing with my own personal issues and things that I'm going through that no one can even begin to fathom, and the whole 9 yards. And long story short is on top of all that, and then also personal responsibility, and then also taking care of my 2 brothers, and... you know, who are completely 100% dependent on people. So, and by people, I mean me. I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm just a lot of things. And so, I'm burning the candle in a lot of ways, right? There's not much left of the candle, right? And you ever watch a candle as it burns the wick? And there's so much melted wax that the flame starts going into the melted wax. And eventually the flame goes out. That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at. And so, dealing with a lot of things, I think, I also had some other things pop up that I'm really not going to talk about at the end of this video, but I got really overwhelmed last night. So I just had to take a step back from doing choices and, just kind of take a breath, right? So that's why, again, I apologize about being late. You guys know I don't like to be late. I've always made sure, unless, like, sick, appointments, or something really, really important, which I typically try and keep, you know, this stuff around that stuff, right? I try and be flexible, right? So it's not to inconvenience you guys, and to make sure that I'm always dependable, and to get the stuff out on the very day it comes out. So, um, you know, I've always been like that for as long as I've been making content, which was long before choices. Just keep that in mind. So I've been at this for 13 plus years making content, but pretty much I've been very diligent with Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, though they stopped doing Mondays. I wish they'd bring that back, at least stretch the content a little thinner, but, so they don't saturate, Wednesdays or Fridays. It's always been one of those 2 days as of the last year. Um, again, I'm just trying for you guys at this point. Not doing it for myself, let's put it that way. So again, please support the content. Let me know your thoughts down below, and thanks for watching. Peace out.